Hi, this is Dream Chaser Stephen Mitchell, and you're listening to the Chasing Dreams podcast with my girl, Amy J.
Hey, my name is Amy J. Before we get on with the show, I wanted to explain a few things. Some of the initial episodes of Chasing Dreams was originally part of my other show, Amy J Live, over at amyj21.com. Because of that, this episode you're listening to right now may mention a different episode number and you may hear reference to Amy J Live. Don't let that confuse you. This is episode number 3 of Chasing Dreams. And now, on to the show.
Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Amy J. Amy believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Amy J.
Hey guys, this is Amy J Live, episode number 9. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have on the show my friend Steve Mitchell, who is hanging out with me on Skype, and we are just chatting it up and pretty much kind of talking about everything he's doing with his company, Blue Rain Productions. So without further ado, let's go see what Steve has to say. Hey guys, I'm here with Stephen Mitchell, founder of Blue Rain Productions and Blue Rain Wear, a design company dedicated to changing the world through art and charity. He is a firm believer in what has now become the Blue Rain motto: see it, believe it, do it. Stephen is also one of my very, very good friends. We've known each other what feels like forever, but probably isn't, but in our heads it is. Thank you, Stephen, for coming.
Thank you for having me, Amy. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
Let me tell you guys, the reason I asked Steve to talk with us today is, you know, this year's motto has been all about live without regret. And I think Steve embodies that, especially with his Blue Rain company. And I've seen him, I don't know if it's from the beginning or very close to the beginning since he started everything. And I've just been so proud of him and everything he's doing. And so I wanted to talk to him and share him and everything he's doing with you guys. And hopefully you can use him as an inspiration to see that you too can make moves and live without regret.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you say that, because I was actually thinking about some of the early days of Blue Rain Productions and Blue Rain Wear. Actually, Blue Rain Productions started in about 2005 on my mom's birthday, which is September 23rd, and it just kind of started to branch out. But yeah, Blue Rain Wear, Amy, I think I've known you about the amount of time that Blue Rain Wear has been in existence. So like I said, I was thinking about some of the early days, and I remember looking around at different brands, different production companies, different clothing lines, and I just thought to myself one day, like, why not me? Why can't I do this as well? So yeah, no regrets.
So you had a dream or an idea, and you just kind of went with it?
Yeah, actually, it's funny that your one of your opening lines was being an inspiration to people and showing them that you can live with no regrets. Because honestly, to be quite candid, I didn't think that I could do this. Like, and the reasons were not because of based on ability. It was just, I didn't think from, my background, where I came from, how I grew up. I just didn't think that, I know this sounds really awful to say, but I just didn't think like someone like me would be able to have the opportunities to do things like this, or to go to some of the places that I've gone. And, it's truly a testament to, as you think, as sometimes that'll be the way that you go. And I think that is really key to let people know that you really have to have the right mindset in place. Even if you don't know how far you can go, you still have to have the mindset that literally, as cliche as it sounds, sky is the limit.
And so let's give our listeners just a clearer picture of what it is. How old are you, Steve?
I am 30 years young.
30 years young. Yeah. And that's now. And Blue Rain Wear, I think, is about 4 years old. Is that right? So when you were like 26, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're 26, you were talking about Blue Rain, which is probably 2005. That's about 4 more years. So you were like 22?
I have a late birthday. My birthday's in November. Big up to all the Scorpios. I was 21 years old going on 22.
21. Okay. So just so everybody understands, Steve had an idea at 21 to do something with his life and just try. And it's gone through different permutations, different evolutions, and it probably still is, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. It evolves every single day. The thing that I think that's so key about the era that we live in right now is that because technology is constantly evolving, everything has to evolve with it. And that includes marketing, that includes, social media, PR. So if you're not on, I don't even say the cutting edge, you have to be before the cutting edge. To kind of grasp what's coming next, it's just so you can, remain relevant.
Would you say that the technology and social media and all that has played a part in where you see your company going, or how you've changed your company?
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that, and that's due to the fact that I watched a very key documentary on Herb Block. He was a political cartoonist for the Washington Post. It's called The Black and White. I suggest everybody gets, that's aspiring to be, I'll just say that, aspiring to be in life, that you just, take some time and just watch it. It's called Herb Block, The Black and White. And what they were saying was the reason why at the time Herb Block was so, influential outside of just his talent was the fact that, during the 40s and 50s and 60s and even the 30s, he was relevant all the way up until the 90s and 2000s when he, up until when he passed. There was no social media. There wasn't television. It was just radio. So the visual images that people saw was, your daily cartoons in the newspaper. Since he was so very widely syndicated, everybody around the world saw him on a regular basis. So, I kind of connected that to what we have now. If a guy could be in, just with a few strokes of his pencil, be in every newspaper around the world, influencing, what people thought on politics, how much more do we have now if we have a computer screen? Even this conversation now we're recording it over Skype. That wasn't even thought of, to be able to do.
That's true. That's true. Often conversations and interviews were done face to face or over the phone.
Absolutely. So, the fact that we can log on to, and update social networks, and they can be literally around the world in the blink of an eye, I feel like that has helped Blue Rain. We haven't had to go through a marketing firm. We haven't had to, go through much PR. We could just do it ourselves with the biggest form of marketing, which is word of mouth, based off of what we can do through social media and technology.
Well, here's a question. Why Blue Rain? Like, why do you call it Blue Rain?
Well, that's probably the most common question that I hear about Blue Rain. People say, well, what is it? What does it mean?
It opens itself up to that question. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Yeah. And that was one of the key factors in choosing a name was what can we say? What can we name the company that will ask a next question? Where can we leave it? I feel Blue Rain is very, like you said, very open-ended. And when I look around at other names like Gap, or like Banana Republic and, certain things like that. DreamWorks, as far as like production companies, it's just something that it interests you, but if you ask the meaning of Blue Rain, initially, blue is my favorite color and rain is my favorite weather. And we just kind of put it together, Blue Rain. And just, I remember some of the early days of my friends, we just kind of would say it, Blue Rain. Blue Rain. We would call each other and answer the phone like Blue Rain officers just to see how it sounded. And after a while, it was just rolling off the tongue. So,
are there a lot of you in the company, or is it do you outsource a lot, or is it kind of intimate with a few friends that you know and trust?
Well, of course, it started with a few friends. It started with myself, and I started passing the idea around, word of mouth. Back in the day when it was MySpace. Oh, that's thing in the time machine.
Before it was revamped by Justin Timberlake and whatnot, there was a MySpace 1.0.
Right. Absolutely. What it was, I saw that, I saw rise of everybody wanting to have like their own thing, which I totally support. Everybody, having their own vision, their own record label, their own business. If you look, on Facebook, everybody is a CEO of their own thing at this point. So what I really kind of wanted to key on in the fact is when I came to people, I did have some friends that were like, hey, I had some friends literally tell me, I don't want my own thing. I want to help somebody else achieve their dream, which was, something that I thought was really admirable. But, the majority of people that I ran into, especially other artists, they wanted their own thing. They wanted to shed that image of a starving artist. And, ultimately we want to get paid for what we're doing. So opposed to me saying, hey, you know what, why don't we come in and swallow you up and just do this? I encouraged people, and I continue to encourage people to continue their own thing. Just, hey, why don't, if I need a photographer, we'll call on, the digital maniac, Tony Lights, who's my regular photographer. And he'll do work through Blue Rain. And if there's ever, he needs any type of production work that we can do on his end, he'll do the same thing. So it's almost a conglomerate of people that already have their own thing working towards, kind of going through us to get a certain goal if we can't provide it all on our own. So yeah, we'll bring in a whole bunch of people for the production side when it comes to Blue Rain Productions. The charity works and things of that nature, that's just those same groups of friends. They're just giving out of, we all have the same type of ideologies when it comes to giving back. And to kind of harp back on that name, Blue Rain, we kind of, people were looking like, hey, blue, that's kind of dismal. Rain, that's also kind of dismal. We kind of flipped our new logo. When we spell out blue, we turn the E backwards. And that's to symbolize, that's what at Blue Rain, what we're looking to do is turn the world backwards, the way things are. As far as poverty is concerned, as far as, capitalism and just all of these things that, hinders people from rising beyond their current state. At Blue Rain, we want to turn all of that around. So that when you see the backwards E on the blue, that's what that means. And like our meaning of blue is to give back. So when we say, feels good to be blue, which is one of our mottos, it feels good to give back. That's what we mean for that.
Was that important to you, being able to give back? I mean, a lot of people talk the talk, but knowing you, I know that you're not one of those people. You actually, you guys have put on benefit concerts, you've done clothing drives. Was that an important part of Blue Rain that you wanted to make sure was forefront?
Absolutely, Amy. And I'm glad you asked me that because that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 people and a cat. And not to put anybody, not to put my family out or anything like that, but I remember at one time, I was in a bunk bed with my sister, and I could look out, I looked off my bunk bed, and my mom's bed was right there. My older sister was, in a walk-in closet. My brother was in another room. And, when you have like that many people in the house, you used to have so many personalities and so many ups and downs. And, I had hand-me-down clothes, and, we always had what we needed, but we never were able to kind of live like in the way that we might have saw other people living. And I just, the feeling that made me feel like, just not to have at times was so detrimental to my self-image, my self-esteem and, my mental state at times. I went out and got into legal trouble when I was younger just because I always wanted more than what I had. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of times we look out and see, impoverished people. It doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the gender. Just we're like, why are these people out here, selling drugs, or they're robbing, or they're stealing, or poverty
doesn't discriminate.
Yeah, it does not discriminate. It is a very difficult, quote unquote drug in a sense. If it grabs a hold of you, you're impoverished. And, I may not have been as impoverished as other people, may have been in their life, but the mental, where I came from a mental capacity at times was very difficult. And I'm thankful to say that, I overcame it. But my first thing was to go back and to help somebody else. And that's always been, as much as I love production, as much as I love clothes and artistry, the closest thing to my heart is helping out others and giving back, honestly.
And you do a great job of it.
Thank you, Amy.
He does a lot of stuff, and those things you will be able to find probably soon on the new website that Steve is actually putting together and launches this week, right?
Valentine's Day. Love Day.
Steve is bringing a little love into the world through his website, which will launch on Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So it gives everybody, including Jason Daly, my good friend Jason Daly on the West Coast, time to get up and wipe all the cold out of your eyes and still be able to log on. I have some friends.
I'm going to tell him you called him out.
I have some friends across the pond who will be able to check it out as well. I felt like 12 noon was a pretty key time, revolved around everyone's schedule, that they'll be able to, log in from their phones as well, or from the computer, and just be able to check it out and just look around. It's not, you'll be able to you're able to purchase some of our apparel, be able to check out what Blue Rain Productions offers and just look around, see what we're about. It's a variety website, to say the least.
That sounds awesome, and I can't wait to see the new incarnation of Blue Rain. So what do you see ahead? Is there something, it's a new year, your company's now having a new website. Is there one thing that you want to happen this year with Blue Rain?
Yes. I want to, I literally, I've been pushing this. We've been pushing, the apparel, because, and the apparel side has actually a very funny story to it. I used to wear a lot of, even prior to that, when Bart Simpson, the Simpsons used to have clothes, and I had a shirt that said Bart Simpson, such and such and such, underachiever. And my mom would not, she was very proud. She's a very proud woman. No matter what the state, she's a very proud woman. She would not let me wear that t-shirt out the house because it said underachiever. So what she did, because I love this shirt so dearly, she sewed over the under part, so it just said achiever, because she really believed what you wear on your body represents the person that you are. And as I got older, and I started to buy my own clothes, I would buy certain brands, which I'm going to, will remain nameless, and they would have certain messages on it, like, affliction and sin and death and skulls and all that stuff. And my aunt asked me one time, she said, why do you wear things that represent such detrimental issues? And I didn't have an answer for her. And what I want to do with Blue Rain is I want people to wear positive clothing, and I want them to also feel good. I want them to look good at the same time. So one of the main things I want is I want to be able to spread that blue rain mantra throughout the country. And so far, it's been picking up. I definitely believe with having a positive message, but at the same time, I definitely believe in, looking good as well, because that has its benefits. So if it's one thing that I'm looking for, I just want to spread Blue Rain throughout the country. And, so far, so good. So.
Now, Steve, we had talked earlier about this, and I know this, and the listeners probably don't, but you're doing Blue Rain full time now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Before this, though, you were juggling several jobs. You were doing what everybody else did, trying to survive.
Yep, absolutely.
So were you in a position where you could just take the leap and go full time as a businessman, or is this you taking a chance?
Well, I'm going to tell you, and again, this is just so everybody knows, my major in college was film and television production. So I've learned the art of creating stories and, to bring about, a point. And so a lot of the questions that and Amy, you asked just wonderful questions. And a lot of the questions that you asked me, I'll probably answer you all with a story, as Amy knows that as well, which I've been my entire time she's known me.
He has a tendency. That's all right. I like your stories. Go on. So
the last job that I worked, when I was actually working for another company, I got pulled into the back. And, because of my experience working the jobs, I kind of thought, I felt like I was about to get you're about to be on probation or you're about to get fired speech. And I was definitely about to get the probation speech. And one of the things that my boss said to me, and I'm so glad she said this to me, my supervising boss said, she said, "You're so gung-ho about your own thing." And her boss chimed in and said, "We need somebody that can be 100% about our business. If we knew you had other things going on, then we wouldn't have hired you."
Wow.
And at that point, the light just chimed on in my head. And I said, and something said to me, said, "You always, working for someone else, you'll always have to give more to someone else than you'll be able to give to yourself."
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I said, "You know what? I'm giving this job at least 40 hours a week. I'm giving it my all because that's just the type of person that I am. How much more could I be building my business if I did this for myself?" And, that's not to say I was bringing in enough income to live off of or anything like that. I had some money saved up and some things like that. But at that point, I realized that the time was now. And I had to go as hard as I could, for Blue Rain, because I didn't want to look back. I'm 30 years young, but, the clock is always ticking.
So you didn't want to regret anything?
Exactly. I didn't want to live with any regrets when I looked down the line. And what was that? That was maybe October. It's November, December, January. 4 months later, I can tell you that's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It's not always easy, but to be able to say you work for yourself and you can instantly see the benefits from it is an amazing feeling.
Had you been toying with that idea of going on your own full time like before? I mean, you've been doing this for a while, this juggling of jobs and mm-hmm. your business and passion. Mm-hmm. So outside of this catalyst that kind of propelled you to make the decision, had you thought about it beforehand and just kind of been like, nah, now?
Absolutely. And again, my biggest fear, and anybody that's ever experienced, the have-nots or not having, the biggest thing that I never wanted to go back to that place. So whenever I thought about, what, I can do this full time. The biggest doubter, the biggest naysayer, the biggest critic was myself. And I would mm-hmm. tell myself, hey, what are you going to do for money? What are you going to do for benefits? Are you going to be homeless? Are you going to be without? But again, at the same time, every time I gave myself enough excuses to continue working for somebody. And that's not to say I worked for some very notable, businesses and reputable companies. But I had regrets every single time, I would get, a check or something from somebody and it didn't have Blue Rain on it. That was the regrets when I was living with. So now I can literally say I'm not living with any regrets.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's a nice feeling to know you're doing what you are passionate about. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you're helping.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And that's one thing I hope other people take is, Steve had to go through his motions and he had to jump through his own hoops to get to this point. And maybe you do, maybe you don't, but that's something, I think it's really personal. Wouldn't you say? Everyone's decision about whether they work part-time and then chase their dreams or chase their dreams full-time?
Absolutely. This is something that I would suggest to anyone that believes in their ability and their talent, their giftedness, and their own future in themselves. The motto, that's, see it, believe it, do it. I've seen it for a long time, and I believed that it was, very possible and very doable. The last part of that, I think, is, I think each part is just as key and just as important, but I think that it's the most difficult component of that motto is do it.
Absolutely.
Just to jump out there and do it. So would I recommend it to somebody? Yes, I absolutely would recommend it, but I wouldn't recommend it with hey, once you do it, everything's going to be cool. It's not always just going to be cool. You have to really revisit every piece of that motto. Sometimes when you're doing it, you might have to step back and say, well, when you question, why am I doing this? Well, I believe that this was possible. Okay, well, why did I believe that something this radical was possible? Because I saw it. And I feel like it's a threefold type of message that it's a checks and balances of itself. It'll continue to, mold and shape itself, but you got to keep going forward with it.
And that's one of the things I think is difficult for people is there's no safety net necessarily, right? You're operating without one. But at the same time, if you needed to pick up another job or if you needed to do something else in order to, survive or at least to keep Blue Rain going or to fund it, would you hesitate?
I would hesitate. And the reason why I would hesitate would be because, would be due to the fact that when you are doing, especially an artistic field, but that doesn't negate the fact that anything that you're doing, when you're doing it for yourself, you need to have something. If you're going to align yourself with any type of work, it has to be something that's going to continue to feed that drive. If I was to pick up another part-time job just to fund it, just to have some extra cash, just to have a little bit more of a safety net, and I do want to come back to that in a quick second, it would be something where even while I was continuing to pursue my own dream, that job would continue to push me towards that. I don't think you should do anything in life, period, but definitely not when you are focusing on your own thing that's going to pull away from that, because you don't want to devote so much energy towards a total different direction, than what you're going. And I have a friend who was an excellent, superb graphic designer. But she picked up a job, selling insurance. And, I told her, I said, I just don't think that's going to be a good idea for you because, what about selling insurance is going to feed your artistic design? She said, I don't know. I just need the money. And, when somebody gives you that type of response, there's really not much you can say back to her. But again, like I was saying, if you, to give yourself that bit of the safety net sometimes is almost like a crutch. I'm glad at times I don't have a safety net because it makes me go that much harder on what I need to do. You won't accept shorts. You won't accept freebies anymore. You will start to understand the value of your gift once you know that there's nothing there to catch you but your gift.
I see. Okay. Well, I can see what you're saying with that, but I also understand your friend's point in that sometimes you have to do what you got to do to make it through. However, at the same time, understand if you're doing that, then sometimes you are, in fact, you have to acknowledge that you are taking maybe a small step back from the dream you're chasing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's not that you're betraying it or anything, but I think you have to acknowledge that that's what you're doing for it. And that you may not be necessarily moving forward with the dream, but that you're creating a safety net so that you can move forward soon. But I think the trap though is once you're there and doing it, don't forget that you had a dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm so, again, if I can inspire someone that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 28, somebody that's, just somewhere where they, you have an idea, because it starts with an idea, and you have to believe that idea is the best thing, that you've ever, that's ever been thought of, like it has to have that type of drive. And I do understand that, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, but again, I just really I'm so totally so engulfed by that, that doctrine of if you really believe that your idea is that good, it's that valuable, then you can work that idea just as much as you can work that part-time job to make it as profitable as it would be working a job. And don't get me wrong, I get extremely discouraged sometimes when I look up and let me just be quite candid with everyone that's listening. When I come home and there's a yellow eviction slip on my door, let me just really be candid with you. But I mean, honestly, all of my stuff is in my house. I have food in my refrigerator. Like, it makes you look at it and say, hey, I don't ever want to go back to this. So what do I need to do so that I'm not in this position? And, many people won't tell you that it gets that real sometimes, but if you're really serious about your dream, that drive will continue to push you until, it becomes profitable. And I'm living proof. I'm living proof of it.
I think it's also something that, so you can't let the fear stop you from chasing whatever it is. I think that's something that we tend to do. We only have so many hours in the day. We only have so many days to live, you know?
Yeah.
Don't live in such a way that you regret what you're doing.
No, yeah, I mean, and that's, I think, like I said, I've been some places, you know, been some very cool places. I've done some very cool things and very thankful for those things. I just want to put them under my own moniker at this point. And, you know, 30 isn't old.
No, it's not.
But what I think about and what I know now, I wish I had implemented when I was 21 and I had less responsibilities and I still lived with my mom and, you know, I still was, you know, going to school and partying. And I wish I was as hard as I'm going now on my own business and my own idea, because I feel like it would be so much further. But again, those type of things are what shape you for, you know.
Well, absolutely.
Now, so.
Because who knows? If you had done it then, we never might have met.
Yeah, that's true.
What were you going to do without me in your life?
I have no idea what I was going to do without you.
What would you do without Amy J in your life? All right, so let's do a quick little game, because you're my first kind of like interview of people doing things for themselves.
Oh, cool.
All right, so you got to pick one or the other, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you some options. You pick one or the other. Don't take forever in deciding.
Okay, I won't.
All right. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Movies or music?
Movies.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Aliens or predators?
Predator.
Mac or PC?
Definitely Mac. Is that a real question?
Yeah. It was a trick question, sort of. I was through with that. Baseball or football?
Football.
All right. So the next up is word association.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
It's not a lot. It's just like a few of them.
No, I love it. I love these type of games.
The word association stuff?
I love all of this type of stuff, yes.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Fashion?
Stop.
You're thinking. You're not supposed to think like, aren't you familiar with the game?
Wait, you say the word and I just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, you tell me it took that long for your mind to...
I saw it in my head. It just took me a long time to say it. I wouldn't cheat you.
All right. All right. I'm going to believe you.
It's going to get random, though. I'm telling you, it's going to get random.
It might. I don't even have that many. Let's try again.
Okay.
Charity.
Humanitarian.
Football.
Emmitt Smith. Why would I say that?
You did, though. Ice cream.
Chocolate.
Blue.
Rain.
Oscar.
Meyer.
Basketball.
Jordan.
Nice. I actually thought you would have said something else for that one.
What did you think I was going to say?
Because I refuse to put that out in the world. That's not me. I won't do that. That's all I had for those.
Okay. Is there any more games?
No, I don't have any other games. Should I come up with more games?
Yes, you should. At least one more.
At least one more?
At least one more, yeah.
Do you have a game?
I don't. Not off the top of my head, I don't.
See? I had 2 games.
I mean, they were cool games. I'm used to there being more. I love games.
If you're so used to it, how come you don't have one right now?
Because I'm used to playing them and not like so much always creating them. Like, I like playing games.
You like playing games?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look around my room.
Hopefully none of my ex-girlfriends heard me say that.
And there's dead silence on my end.
Where's the cricket sound?
All right, I'm looking around my room. We're going to do word association still.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going to say something, okay?
Okay.
All right, film.
Critic.
Comic.
Relief.
Sci-fi.
Tom Cruise. Why?
I don't know. Superhero.
Superman.
Dog.
Fight.
Baseball.
Cal Ripken.
Good call.
Like that.
Yeah, I do. Book.
Report.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love book reports.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I love books. I'm a reader.
Well, that's true. Because, and the book that you mentioned, Air Block, was that it?
Block.
Block, the black and white.
Herbert Block. It's a documentary.
Don't worry, I'm going to get Steve to write a book report on that, and I will put it in the post. You're going to put the summary as to why people should read it, since you're such a fan.
I am a fan. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times.
This guy. Okay, I'm looking around my room. I got a lot of games. That's the word. Games.
Price is Right.
Really? Video.
Yep. Oh, PlayStation 3.
Color.
Blue.
What's your favorite? Mm-hmm. Chinese.
Soy sauce.
I had Chinese earlier, guys. That's why it's there.
Yeah, you know what? That was our last dinner date was P.F. Chang's, right?
Was it?
Yeah, we ate a P.F. Chang's when I left my last day.
No, dude. No, we had
Oh no, that's Snowball. Yeah.
We had smoothies.
We drunk smoothies. For everybody listening, we drunk smoothies in the cold. It was freezing. It was,
and the place we were at, Smoothie King did not have a table inside. Fail on their part. Total fail on their part. But that's all I got, Steve. I'm gonna work on it. Now I'm gonna be like, I need to get better games. In fact, I'm gonna recruit Blue Rain to come up with games for the interviews.
Done. You
all heard it here first. Blue Rain is being roped in to volunteer and come up with games that I can use for these interviews.
No problem at all.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, for joining me today and talking with us. And I hope you all check out his website, bluerainworld.com. Launching when?
Friday, Valentine's Day, Love Day, which is this Friday at 12 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time. So adjust accordingly and definitely check it out. And remember, the Blue Rain motto is very deep and goes along with everything that I believe in see it, believe it, do it. Remember, this is the year to live without regret and just make moves. Okay, guys, so thanks again, Steve.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Thank you, Amy J.
Thanks again, Steve, for joining us today. Remember, BlueRainWorld.com launches Friday, February 14th, noon, Eastern Standard Time. The link will be available on my website, so you can always find it there. But once again, it's BlueRainWorld.com. It's available on all browsers and mobile devices around noon. So definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it. And if you so kind to leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or Libsyn, we'd love to hear from you. Till next time, peace.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Amy would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with Amy on Twitter at AmyJ21. That's AIMEEJ21. Or leave a comment on her website, ChasingDreamsHQ.com. We hope you'll join Amy next week, and until then, keep chasing.